Welcome and thank you for joining us. Today we'll be learning how to quickly create lab profiles in Lab on Demand, as well as committing a change to that profile that we just created. If you'll notice, when you log in, you'll log in and land on our dashboard page. From the dashboard page, you can quickly create a lab profile. You do so by simply clicking Create Lab Profile. This will bring you to the template gallery. The template gallery is a collection of pre-configured lab profiles that you can use and make your own. On the left-hand side, you'll notice that you can filter these down. If you'll look here, there's My Favorites and My Organizations. This defaults to public, by the way. You can make a template for your organization that only people in your organization can see. You can also favorite templates that you use most frequently, and you can filter down by that. To favorite a template, you just click on this star down in the right-hand corner, and that'll make it your favorite. For now, we're going to keep looking at the public templates. All right, so you have two options when you're picking a template. You can either preview it, which will launch a lab and allow you to view the environment, at which point you can then create your own or copy over into your own development organization. Or if you already know what you want, you can just click Create. This will bring you to the Create Lab Profile page where you will enter a number. You'll have to name your profile. You can add a description. You'll have to select your organization or confirm that it's your development organization. As a quick reminder, always develop in your development organization, and you only push to your production organization or copy to your production organization when a lab series has all the labs it's going to need and all of them are ready to be consumed by an end user. Speaking of series, you would select your series here. If you've already got a series that you want to put this in, you would select Choose. We do not, so a handy feature is we can just create from here. So you would just name your lab series, if I can type, and then that will create this lab series and put the profile in it when you're done here. The next step is, or the next thing that we'll see is expected duration. This is the average amount of time that you expect your learner to be in this lab, to the average time that it would take them to complete this lab. Now, because we know that people, go through labs at different speeds and whatnot, we have the maximum duration field as well, so that can be up to twice the time. So in this case, it would be 120 minutes would be the max that we could make this. This will also be the timer that shows up in the lab client when they launch the lab. I'll set this at 90 minutes so we can see later where it shows up in the lab client. Tags are just searchable items that you can use to make your lab profile easily found in searches. We're going to remove all these and we're going to click OK. This is your lab profile page. We're going to launch the lab to get it going, set it off screen here, and I'll go over a couple of things. At the top, you'll see the number and the name that you set. You can favorite this lab here. You can edit the profile, edit the instructions, delete the lab. Moving on down, you would launch the lab from here. And then under the basic information, you can see some basic information. You get to see the RAM, the CPUs. The important things to look at will be average startup duration. Once your lab is launched so many times, LOD will start grabbing some metrics on how long it took for your lab to start up, and it'll give you an average startup duration here, and you kind of see if something's going on, if that's like a really, really long amount of time. Now, you also want to pay close attention to the development status. Remember, you're in your development org, so everything should be in development. Nothing should be set to complete. Notice our expected duration is set to that 60 minutes or 1 hour, and our max duration is set to that 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, now that our lab is launched, This is where you would make any changes to the environment that you need to make. We'll just recap up here. If this is not something that you've grabbed from the template gallery, so backing up everything that you grab from the template gallery, Hyper-V Wise, and that is Windows, has the integration services already installed. But if this were your own VHD and you had just imported it, you would have to make sure as a developer you came up here and installed your integration services so you could utilize a lot of the LOD features. So let's assume that you've made some changes. What you're going to do now is you're going to want to make sure that you shut down the VM like you would on your local host by simply shutting it down. And then the next thing you would do is you would come up over here. Let's just recap. That's that 1.5 hour time remaining is the maximum duration that we set earlier. So to commit your change that you've made, you've shut down the lab, you come over here to the hamburger menu and you want to click save, and then you have two options to commit changes. You can commit them to this lab profile, or you can create a new lab profile with those committed changes. For now, we're going to choose update this lab profile, and we're going to select next. Now you want to put any notes in that are applicable to this change, whatever commit that you've made here. So let's say you've installed some software and you know that it's going to need 8 gigs of RAM and not 4. You can adjust that here as well. And then as you go down, you want to again check this, because this is where the changes will apply to this disk. So if you had more than one disk here, you would want to check the disks that you actually made a change to. And again, you want to be detailed in your notes. The more details you can provide, the better for the next person that comes along that needs to make changes to this lab, or if something happens to the environment. And then down here, you're going to want to choose your storage place. So I recommend never storing in your root folder. So you typically want to set up a folder ahead of time, but if you haven't, you can simply right click here, choose new folder, and it'll allow you to make another folder. You can also choose a new folder under any child folder as well. But let's assume that we're going to use this another folder for our disk location. We're going to select that, and as soon as we click OK, it's going to commit our changes. Now you'll see this screen committing your changes. This will go on for a little while. Once it's done, we will see it say changes saved, and then we're just going to end our lab. I am going to pause this video here, and through the magic of editing, the next time you see this, it will be complete. Okay, now you can see that our save is successful. So from this point, you would simply select OK, and then you're going to end your lab. It's important to understand that turning the machine back on and trying to make more changes and commit those changes will not work. You have to end this session. Thank you for joining us. That's all we have. Please, I hope that you enjoy your experience with LOD, and please feel free to reach out to our support staff or your AE if you need any help.